Evidence-based practice number 4 is scripting. Also, and functional communication training is part of scripting. Scripting is one of the methods, but sometimes, functional communication training kind of refers to a lot of different things. I'm going to show you some samples, but basically scripting is when you give, think of a script, right? An author, if you were a playwright, you give the actors the script of what to say. This is a visual support that helps to provide them support on what we want them to say. So an example, I created this My Turn one. It's a lot smaller though in real life, it's like that big. And we were teaching the kids how to say this was in a speech class. They were playing a game. And you know how like if you're playing Candyland, you say, okay, my turn, and then you go and you spin. My turn. So we were trying to get the kiddos to say the words my turn. And this script, for some of the learners, the picture showed them what they needed to say. My turn. For some of them, the arrow pointed and then the words my turn. And I think for one of them, we had a voice output button. We took this and placed it on a voice output button because they didn't have vocal language, and this way they could use the words my turn. So this kind of gave them their words and helped evoke more language. This one here is a picture of a device on an iPad to help evoke more expressive language. I want apple juice. And the learner would select what they want. In this case, the learner selected that they wanted apple juice, and then the talker, like Prolo Quota Go, for an example, might say, I want apple juice. And sometimes if it's scripting, the learner might just see this and it's going to evoke their own language that they already have. And I've seen that. The next picture, in a couple slides, I'll show you that one. You might want to use it for increasing desired behaviors. I had a learner that had originally used picture exchange communication and was able to say, like, I want iPad, I want apple juice, and maybe they were giving us the picture as a means of requesting. Well, then they moved up in phases and they were then creating sentences. So then they would take the picture of the apple juice, let's just say, and put it on here and then hand us the card. Or then see it and go, I want apple juice, and then say, I want apple juice. Or sometimes just seeing the card itself is going to evoke more language. They don't even need to have an exchange. They can just see that and it's going to prompt them to speak. These are cards that I made for a learner in a public school who had a lot of vocal language but didn't really use it. So this evoked language, and this also taught them how to play games. So there's a Go Fish and memory. And so these were basically Shane's 2 options. Like if he was playing Go Fish, he would say, I want a heart or whatever it was. Or I don't have a blank, go fish. And so this gave him those words of what he needed to say. Other ways of evoking more desirable expressive language might be with a device. Here's like a more lower tech Go Talk Now. Here's one, this is I think Proloco. It's one of the apps on the iPad. And perhaps gestures and signing. I mean, here I am using gestures, right? This is a picture exchange book. Sometimes we might use voice output buttons. This I used with a learner in a vocational setting who had a lot of amazing skills, but when I assessed her, she was not using the language that she had in her repertoire enough. And so she was engaging in interfering behaviors, or she would just get up and use the restroom, where most people say, excuse me, I need to use the restroom. She had the language, but wasn't using it. So when we presented to her a choice board, she didn't need to, like, this is Velcro here, she didn't need to like take it and hand it to them. She just needed to see those words on a page, and I have data, I mean, beautiful graphs that show how much more expressive language she had when she had these choices presented in front of her. And I'm not telling her what to pick. This is totally all on her, and that's awesome. But this gave her that support to evoke more language. And so her expressive language went up and the interfering behaviors went down. So we were now, and this is based on the FBA, it was all function specific, but we were now reinforcing the desired behaviors. It's beautiful. So simple too, you know? We might want to teach making choices. Here's like, you know, if you're in art and you finish your art class early, maybe there's 5 minutes of time for kids to just have their own choice and figure it out. But if a kiddo has a difficult time maybe making that choice, this provides them the support in a concrete way so that they know, here's what the choices are. And then they'll say, okay, I'm gonna choose to use markers, please.